it's Tracey Campbell. Today I'm going to share with you my build a cut file from Confessions of a Paper Addict. So Virginia this month has designed a stack of build a, and the themes are basically ideas that the design team gave to Virginia and she followed on with it. And so mine is build a wreath. So it's a floral wreath that you can design with the cut file this month for me. There's other ones like build a coffee station, build a park, build a picnic, all sorts of wonderful ideas. So anyway, I'm going to run you through my procedure. And what I have done is I cut the wreath in I guess it's almost a 12-inch by 12-inch circle, and then the elements to the builder wreath were on the inside of the circle, so they got blown up that size. And I then deleted the circle and duplicated the elements so that I'd have a ton of them and a stack of them to play with, which was lots of fun. And I basically cut them out. So I cut out one 12 by 12 with the circle and the elements in the center, and then I cut out another 12 by 12 piece of white cardstock with just the elements in. So I had a ton of them to play with. And what I've pulled out to use are just some Colour Blast shimmer dust pots, basically just water paint. And then I've got a collection of pan water paints there too from Colour Blast, and I've just basically painting the elements all different colours. So the greens and the blue, light blues and the teals for the leaves and the stems, and just touching them up and going with the flow. Trying to keep them all of the one type of element or leaf or stem the same colour. I didn't want to throw too many random things in, so I decided that I was going to pick one colour for them and stick to that. So these little sticks with the berries on the top, I painted them green and then put a little bit of purple colour on the top for the little berry. Now these shimmer pots that I'm using are really quite cute. It's just a watercolour that's activated with water, obviously, and it's got a beautiful shimmer to them. And then the pan colours are real nice and vibrant as well. Such fun. If you don't have those products, don't worry, just any water paint will do. And even if you don't have water paints, if you've got some sprays of any type, just spray a little bit of the colour and then add water to it and just use a brush to paint it on. There's many ways that you can add colour to white base. And watercolours is one of my favourites because it gives a very diluted colour, and I love the blending, how if you add more colour to it, it kind of all just blends and meets nicely and just gives a nice effect. So as you can see, it does take a little bit of time to paint each element, but it is a lot of fun. It's quite relaxing to do, and I just keep a baby wipe handy so I can clean up the mess, because I'm definitely one that doesn't colour in the lines I go out, so I do tend to get it about everywhere. Apologise for the sunshine coming through the window. Usually I've got the blinds shut a little bit, but it was quite overcast in the morning, and in the afternoon as I made the way through the day, the sun started coming in. It's been a bit rainy here lately. It's meant to be summer, but it's been quite cool, and lots of rain, which is quite interesting for this time of year. Anyway, I'm not going to take you through me individually painting every little bit of element. Here I'm just going to show you what I do for the colours of the flowers, and as you can see, I'm just adding a light pink, and I'm building up this rose type flower with the lighter colours first, and then using a darker pink to just add a little bit more of a difference and tone to the flower to give it a little bit of depth. So next I'm just using one of the little delicate little 4-petal flowers and given it a yellow centre and a little bit of a reddy pink to the petals. And just moving on to the others. This one looked a little bit like a daisy to me, so it's got to be bright sunshine yellow and a little bit of orange around the cutout of the centres. I decided this time that I wasn't actually going to back my cut files, which is the first time in a long time I've done that. I just wanted to add a bit of the extra colour to it without the backing. I was a bit worried about how the wreath and the flower layers would turn out and that you'd be able to see them through the cutout, but it turned out really nice. I really like how it turned out, so I'm excited for you to see what it is and let me know what you think. And I think next time I do it, I am going to back the backs of it just for something different, to give it a different look. And that's the beauty of these build a ... themed cut files, because you can actually mix and match the elements in them to create a different look every time you use them. I guess I saw it, someone made a comment on where Virginia was showing them on Facebook in the group, and they said that they were waiting for Virginia to come up with a kit. And these build a themes are kind of like that. They're a kit of a cut file, and you can reshape them and do whatever you want with them. Fun, very fun to use, and very flexible. I am now working on the wreath, and I'm using a colour called Bling, and it is an awesome, beautiful gold colour. If you're familiar with the Heidi Swap Shimmer Shine, her gold colour, it's very, very similar to that, except for this one you get to paint on, and very flexible as well, because you can have it as runny or as thick and as you like. So it just takes me a little bit to build it all up and to get the look that I was going for, but I was really quite happy with how it turned out. And the gold was such a beautiful touch to the background of the flowers. So now I'm looking at my 12 by 12. So this is from a tear apart pack that I've got of pattern paper, and it leaves the perforated dots down the side of one, and instead of trimming it, I decided that I was just going to sand the dots away. So that's what you just saw me doing. And I love the colours in this paper, so I didn't want to waste a whole sheet of 12 by 12 paper. So I've cut the centre out because I do know that I'm going to use this as a edge around the other paper. And here I am just tearing down the 12 by 12 to give it a textured look. And I will mount this to that triangle-y rainbow colour pattern paper after I've distressed the edges. Now those edges that I just tore off, don't throw them out if you're doing this. Keep them, because I do use those to mat my photo, and you'll see that in a little bit. Well, actually you won't see it. I start doing it and then I stopped and I didn't record it, so I will take you through and talk you through that process when it gets up to there of what I've done with those little strips. So just sticking the purpley pinky paper to the rainbow colours and just giving it a bit of a tear and a rough up and sticking it back down just to give it a more of a distressed look. Tore quite a bit off there, just so that I can move the edge of the paper over and make it peek out, giving it a rough and worn look. Bit of a distressed look, I guess. Right, so now comes the wreath. I'm going to, after I do a bit of splatters, so I decided to need a bit more gold. So I got some of the Heidi Swap mist and flicked that across the page just to give it a bit of a colour touches. And then I've got some white chalk paint or spray as well that I flick on. Right, so here are the flowers, and they're now dry, And I'm just going to use some three-dimensional tape. So this is just really thin lined three-dimensional tape that I bought at a $2 shop. It didn't have any brand name on it, and it is quite sticky as well, so I will get it stuck everywhere. But I'm just basically adding some of the three-dimensional tape to it, not all the way over it, just enough so that it can pop off the background page to give it some dimension and build up the layers in it. I was going to show you just one of each type of flower, how I've added the three-dimensional tape. And there you have it. Quite easy, quite simple. I do go back and put the tape on every bit of the elements, every single one of them. So, you know, the leaves or the, I'm just running one strip right down the centre and a bit on either side of the leaf. Never noticed that I hold my pointer finger up on my left hand when I'm doing things, but as I'm filming or doing the voiceover for this, I've noticed that that finger sticks up quite often. I don't know, I'll have to work on that, I think. Right, so now goes the wreath, nice and dry. So I'm just using a white glue pen to add some glue. It will dry clear. So I'll just a bit of it all the way around, and then I will stick it right down onto my base background. And it does stick up a little bit on the left where the texture, or the paper is torn and a bit roughed up, so I did push it down a little bit just to make sure I got it flat. And I'm just taking the flowers and working out how I'm going to position them around the wreath, and just playing with them, kind of balancing them out. I do realise that I want the bigger cluster in that bottom right hand corner, so I'm kind of doubling up. There's about 4 of each flower, so I kind of use the majority of them down in that corner, but then balance it out and make sure I got at least 1 of each one in the 2 smaller ones. I just playing with it and then adding the leaves, and with the leaves I ended up doing it, instead of spreading them out around the 3 as I went, I had to concentrate on the cluster that I was looking at and work in just, I guess, isolating the clusters and looking at them and seeing if it was balanced, making sure that not too much went into the centre. Yeah, and just kept adding and building up. Now I'm not sticking down here, I'm just arranging where I wanted the flowers to see if I like the balance. And as I was talking before, the cutout part here, this is when I was starting to get afraid that the wreath, the string wreath, or the other flower elements would show through the cutouts. But if you play with them, it actually, you can move them around a little bit and line the line of the die cut up, so it actually doesn't show the others through as much. Does that make sense? Sorry, a bit hard. So you basically play with it so that you like what you can see through them. And it was a lot of fun building it up. Once I got it to this stage, I decided that I would stick it down. So it was just a matter of taking it all out and working from the outside in. So I used the removed the elements one at a time and just worked from the outside and worked it in, because the outside were the layers that were going to be at the bottom and I wanted the flowers on top. So now I'm working on matting of the photo. So I picked my photo, and that's what I said, I don't throw out those scraps. So I've gone and picked them up and I've distressed them, and that's where I cut the editing, and basically used a very thin strip and matted once with the leftover scraps, and then I matted again with what I cut out the centre of the rainbow triangular shape paper. and they just matted it quite easily. And then tucked it behind the flower cluster. I did turn the page around so that the bigger cluster was now on the left. And here I am just adding some cotton thread. Rolled it up and kind of spread it out a little bit and tucked a bit of glue in, and then tucked the cotton thread behind the die cut, or the cut file, the cutouts. Yeah, just adding a little bit of texture and a little bit more pink interest to the page. And there's about 6 different areas I tucked the thread through, just giving it a little bit of a movement around the page as your eye gets attracted by the thread. Adding a few hearts, because what girly photo or layout doesn't need some hearts? So just little pink and purple hearts around the page. And then I'm using some gems to pop into the center of some of the flowers. And I will also add a few pearls, adding a little bit of a white touch to it, because at this stage I've decided that I want to use a white foam title. So I thought I needed to add a little bit of white to the clusters of flowers. And it's just about finished. Just needs to add the title, and of course I'm going to call it Wild About You. And that little heart was just in the wrong place, I decided, so I took it out and repositioned. I do go back later and adhere the title and the hearts down with a white glue so it dries clear, just to keep them in place. And here's a little bit of the finished product and how it turned out. I really liked how it finished in the end. It's a really delicate page, perfect for those feminine photos. But you know what? You can add a boy to it as well. There's nothing wrong with flowers on boy layouts. But I must admit, it's one of my favourite layouts for for a little while. I'm just having the time to play and experiment and build up those builder themed cut packs. So make sure that you stop in at the Etsy store, the Confessions of a Paper Addict. You'll be able to see all of the builder theme kits. And thanks for stopping in. Talk to you later. Bye.